Hello students, you already got an idea about the introduction of the story. Now let us see the story through your textbook. The Lost Child by Mulk Raj Anand. A child goes to a fair with his parents. He is happy and excited and wants the sweets and toys displayed there. But his parents don't buy them for him. Why then does he refuse when someone else offers them to him? The story begins with a question mark. It allows us to think over on what could be the reason for the child to refuse all those things which were offered to him by someone which earlier he had desired to have them. Let's read the story. It was the festival of spring. From the wintry shades of narrow lanes and alleys emerged a gaily clad humanity. Some walked, some rode on horses, others sat, being carried in bamboo and bullock carts. One little boy ran between his father's legs, brimming over with life and laughter. So it was the season of spring, and people in the village, they were all very excited. They came out of narrow lanes and they were happy to visit a fair. We can see that they were all dressed, or they were all in colorful attire. Some rode on horses, some walked, and some went on bullock carts. One little boy, a child, he was also very excited and happy, as he was also going to the fair along with his parents, brimming over with life and laughter. Brimming means overflowing up to the edge. So this child was so full of happiness and full of life that he was also going to visit the fair. "Come, child, come," called his parents as he lagged behind, fascinated by the toys in the shops that lined the way. His parents called him. As he lagged behind, he delayed because the boy was attracted. Fascinated means attracted by the toys in the shops that lined the way. He hurried towards his parents, his feet obedient to their call, his eyes still lingering on the receding toys. Lingering means to stay for a time, and receding, all the toys that he had seen on the way, he could still look back with a desire to have them all. As he came to where they had stopped to wait for him, he could not suppress the desire of his heart, even though he well knew the old, cold stare of refusal in their eyes. Suppress means to put an end to by force. He knew the cold stare of his refusal in his father's eyes, but still he pleaded to have them. "I want that toy," he pleaded. His father looked at him red-eyed in his familiar tyrant's way. Tyrant is like a cruel ruler. His mother, melted by the free spirit of the day, was tender, and giving him her finger to hold, said, "Look, child, what is before you?" Mother was a kind-hearted woman, and she wanted to divert the attention of the child, so she asked her to look to the mustard field. It was a flowering mustard field, pale like melting gold, as it swept across miles and miles of even land. So one could see a wide expanse of mustard field, yellow flowers all blossomed, and they looked like melted gold. A group of dragonflies were bustling about on their gaudy purple wings. A lot of dragonflies were seemed to be moving here and there, and their bright colored purple wings were shining, intercepting the flight of a lone black bee or butterfly in search of sweetness from the flowers, intercepting, crossing the way of a black bee or butterfly, which also came out in the open in search of sweetness, nectar from the flowers. The child followed them in the air with his gaze, till one of them would still its wings and rest, and he would try to catch it. He was a child. He got attracted with things in nature, with these insects, and he wanted to catch hold of one of the butterflies that sat there. But it would go fluttering, flapping up into the air. Fluttering means moving the wings very quickly. When he had almost caught it in his hands, then his mother gave a cautionary call. Come, child, come, come to the footpath. Cautionary is a warning call. He ran towards his parents gaily and walked abreast of them for a while, being, however, soon left behind, attracted by the little insects and worms along the footpath that were teeming out from their hiding places to enjoy the sunshine. The child ran towards his parent happily, and sometimes he even walked ahead of them, but again he stopped back to look at the little insects and worms which had come out in large number out of their holes to have some sunshine. Come, child, come, his parents called from the shade of a grove where they had seated themselves on the edge of a well. He ran towards them. Grove is a place where there are lots of trees. Group of trees are there. So parents sat on the corner of a well and the boy, the child, ran towards them. A shower of young flowers fell upon the child as he entered the grove, and forgetting his parents, he began to gather the raining petals in his hands. The child got excited to see the petals falling from the trees, and he started to collect them in his hands. But lo, he heard the cooing of doves and ran towards his parents, shouting, The dove, the dove! The raining petals dropped from his forgotten hands. Children, see how lively and how joyful he was that he dropped the collected petals which were in his hands and he ran towards the dove. Come, child, come, they called to the child, who had now gone running in wild capers round the banyan tree. And gathering him up, they took the narrow, winding footpath which led to the fair through the mustard fields. The parents again called the child to join them as he was occupied playing in the banyan tree, and then they all headed towards the curved footpath which led them to the fair.